the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. I have swapped out the Dexter DeFicio combo for two much smarter gentlemen. I have Kikis and Darshan joining me from G2 Esports and CLG. What's up, guys? Welcome to the desk. I just want to kick this straight off and talk a little bit about top lane, because I heard you guys talking about some champions that you like and dislike. There's this perception, Kikis, that you're just a tank player, that, you know, that's your role. And Darshan, you're the carry split push. So let's talk about the Trundle into Fiora matchup that we just seen, and then expand it to some of the other champions. Kikis, I know you quite like that Trundle.
Yeah, like, thing is, like, before even LCS started, I was practicing top lane, and I actually played like a bit of Trundle. Even though he got nerfed on the few patches ago, and I think his Smasher versus Fiora is actually still good. Like, thing is, you just go Gauntlet first item, and even if you're a bit behind, you're just gonna Smasher because you have like much more powerful stats with the Q, taking away the AD damage, like with ulti, just taking away everything. And like with Gauntlet, with Grasp, you're just gonna outrate her every time, unless like you misplay, of course. And like for example, in the game, like Sauce went for Mercury Threat, which is actually pretty bad because it's the worst boots in the game, and it doesn't help anything. Like, okay, TF stun, like it's 20% tenacity, especially on 6.3. So, like, if he had other boots or he had like Ninja Tabais, he would have so much easier time this game.
Darshan, what's your take on that? Does Trundle really beat Fiora that easily in your mind?
I think it's pretty good, yeah. Like, you win in the lane like level 1, Fiora can't really do anything. And then if you build right, I think you just kind of like do really well until Fiora gets like 2 or 3 items when she really starts becoming like a monster split pusher. But I think like on both sides, they were playing like the split push really poorly. Like, Soaz didn't really itemize that well. And when they had like the TF Trundle, they would like go too fast. They'd like double teleport on like Fiora to try and kill her. And then TSM, they had like the Fiora TF, which is like one of the most insane split push comps in the game. And they were still trying to just deathball all game. And they're just trying to group up and team fight, group up and team fight. And I think that's why TSM isn't really scary with the Fiora pick, because they don't really use it to split push. They just pick Fiora, but then group again anyway. So I think that's probably like one of the biggest flaws that I saw on that set, is neither team was really using split push to split push. They just like push the minions a little bit and then try and group up, which I think is like really bad when you're playing Fiora.
And of course, with the champions that we were talking about in terms of some of these tanks or some of these other options available, what about your Nautilus that you were talking about? I heard Darshan saying, Kikis, what's your take on Nautilus? Let's start with Darshan answering the question first. How important is he in the meta and in maybe these teams' hands as well?
Yeah, I think he's really strong, except for into Fiora, and you're probably going to see, like, if Fiora's banned, Nautilus is going to be, like, the highest priority top laner, definitely. And if Fiora's up, then Nautilus will probably stay, like, a little bit further in the draft, but he's definitely the strongest tank top right now.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think Nautilus is so strong in so many ways because, okay, like in lane swap, you can actually push the lane out. If you see enemy bot lane coming to you, just press E 2 times, and then you gain a lot of advantage, actually. And then in mid game, he's so strong. Like, some people even go Thunder Lord, and you just one-shot AD carry in mid game. Like, you one-shot actually like most of the squishes and most of the champions, and he's like his skill set with summon CC is just really amazing. And if you're on point with hooks, you can get so ahead just by being like a good player.
All right, well, we are about to jump into picks and bans, gentlemen. I want to ask for your assistance and helping me follow it. For everybody at home, you should jump onto the Score Esports app. You can pick it up on the iOS store or on Google Play. It'll keep you up to date with picks, bans, scores, gold, trends, stats, news, and everything else. So do check that one out for us. Picks and bans, ESC Ever. They are on blue side for game 1, taking on Team Solar Mid on red side. We saw Nautilus being quite important during the course of that last game. A lot of tank priority, Poppy up top, Nautilus. The Fiora was thrown out a little bit. What would you expect to see following up these bans of Twisted Fate, LeBlanc, and Braum? Maybe Kikis.
I mean, like, it just depends what teams really aim for in this game, because like banning out the TF already is, I think, pretty huge, because it's such an annoying champion to play against, and it just changes playstyle of both bot lane and top lane. You actually have to focus more on mid lane, trying to actually camp the TF so he cannot really roam to other lanes.
Darshan, do you hate it when your enemy has a TF?
Yeah, it's pretty lame to do when you're split pushing, and you kind of see from Ever, like the TF and LeBlanc lanes immediately coming out, and Lissandra, and these are all the pick champions. If you guys were watching that last set, you just saw it was the game of like who got caught more, and one game it was TSM, like Yellowstar getting caught so many times, and like another game that was Origin, like Soaz getting caught like time after time again, and all these three mid lane bans definitely targeting Bjergsen, and they're all just pick champions that can catch people out. And I feel like if TSM doesn't have those pick champions, then they're not going to have that momentum to come back into the game because they always try to group and look for that pick or team fight. They're not really good with that split.
So the question then is, what OP champions are left open? Because that was a near insta-lock on the Kalista. Sven literally took TSM down single-handedly with that champion. But now what can TSM take in reply?
I think Kalista is a really strong pick. I'm actually not sure how much Doublelift plays Kalista, but okay, Kalista is the first pick. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like, even though Lucian is not the best pick into Kalista, it's still like the best AD carry open right now. So they don't need to pick it now if they don't need to, if they don't want to.
Alistair for Yellowstar maybe? Because that's been his best champion.
I think it's like what they've done is they banned out the Braum, and they're probably going to go Alistar, which I don't really understand because Braum is like what is the counter to Bard, right? But if you pick Alistar and then they just go Bard, when Key's just been an animal on Bard when I saw him playing it earlier today, it doesn't really make that much sense from TSM's draft because they're going to get the Alistar, but Ever's just going to get like Bard, and they're going to get another strong jungler like Elise.
And especially connected with Kalista, it's such a strong 2v2 lane that I'm pretty sure TSM is going to look to lane swap, but Ever is going to know that they want to lane swap, and it's just going to depend which team actually gets what they want. And if Ever gets 2v2, I think it's going to be really hard for TSM to even do anything starting from the start of the game.
And that's something we've actually seen a lot today. Doublelift and Yellowstar have been struggling in the 2v2 matchups. They're not really on the same page. Doublelift could go for that Ezreal if he wants to keep going for the blue build. And here's the Nautilus top that we've spoken so much about. Kikis, it must make you excited.
It's still possible for a flex pick. Like, some people actually played support still. It's not that often, but it's still a good thing to catch someone off guard because Fiora is still open. So, for example, TSM wants to pick Fiora now. They want to leave their mid lane for last pick. They can actually pick something else into Fiora and just send Nautilus bottom.
Before I talk about the Fiora, I mean, you former jungler moved to top lane this year, and we see the Graves locked in. How much has the jungle changed now? From your opinion, because you're formerly a jungle main.
I mean, in my prime, I guess you can say, because we were really good at the time. I was in the Cinderhulk meta, so I was playing Tongs before, I'm playing tanks now, so I'm just a tank player overall, but for now it just seems there's a lot of carry junglers that with efficient farming and a lot of smart play, like balancing between ganks and getting the minions. A lot of champions are strong with the items like Graves, Nidalee, and they just can carry the games by itself in the jungle actually, and then I just played tank on top lane.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. It's working for G2, of course. Darshan, Fiora locked in for Hauntzer and the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kog'Maw went all the way to the 3-4, and something you usually see in TSM drafts is they've been early picking Lee Sin all day, which kind of leaves them like they're really physical heavy and they're starving for that magical damage, but Kog'Maw kind of fills that void in. And I've never really seen Kog'Maw go to the 3-4, so I think Ever almost wants them to pick Kog'Maw, and champions like Nautilus just deal really well, and especially with the Bard and Lux, they just have an insanely good comp for dealing with Kog'Maw, so I think they're going to have no problem catching them out. And even though TSM got the Fiora pick, which does insanely well splitting against Nautilus, I feel like they're going to try and group up and team fight again with the Kog'Maw, and that's where Ever is going to do really well. And if TSM can split with the Fiora, I think that's their ticket to win the game so far.
Well, they couldn't split earlier today when they played ESC Ever, and it was because they wouldn't split and play the map that they ended up losing at the Baron pit. So pressure on Team Solo mid. The Lux and the Bard round out ESC Ever's team composition. And what is this telling you now, Kikis?
With the team composition, I think with how, I can say messy the games were before, because there were a lot of people getting caught, a lot of fights and stuff. I really dislike the Kog'Maw pick actually, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna die a few times this game and he's just gonna fit if Ever plays prepared actually. So they have a good team come against it. They have Nautilus ulti, he just pops ulti on his head, and then it's not much. Actually, Zilean can do something, but I still think it's not good.
If somebody gets caught, you've got Zilean to revive them. If that's something we've learned from today. We're not seeing a huge amount of Zilean in EU, maybe only 1 or 2 players, but I think a little bit more popular in NA. Do you like this in a Protect the Cog comp?
I think Zillion's probably the one like pick that can save him. Doesn't matter if you get caught, you know, you just get ulted and you're back at full life. And I think Zillion just the ultimate bait if you never play against them. So honestly, pretty good pick by TSM here to kind of like try and round out the team comp because you know they're going to want to try and group up and like team fight with the Cog Zillion. And that's actually a pretty good combo. It's like similar to like having like a Lulu Cog, but it's like Zillion Cog, he just revives you and speeds you up instead. So not bad.
To be honest, with the setups I see, I think it's actually gonna be okay. W dies once time, Zillion ultis him. Okay, he's gonna die second time. And then,
That's also
yeah,
very
okay,
likely.
sure.
So, Kikis, I've asked every other analyst today to make a prediction on who they think will win off the picks and bans. Will it be ESC Ever or Team Solo Mid?
I think Ever's got this.
Okay, so game one to Ever. Dashan?
I'm just going to go for TSM. I'm just going to try and keep the NA dream alive.
All right, so split opinions on the analyst desk. The fans at home are heavily in favor of TSM with 2/3 of the vote. You can see some nervous players on stage. Gentlemen, thank you for helping me in Picks and Bans. We'll be back after the game. For now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, a new TriCast will take us into the final series of the day.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined by the EU LCS casters. This is the closest I'm going to get, ladies and gentlemen, to the EU LCS, but we won't worry about that. It's going to be Deficio and
It's like
alongside me.
the greatest old school ULCS caster, then the greatest current ULCS caster, and the
then
greatest
Crepo.
and the greatest
And what are
caster
you?
in the future.
Oh, okay. I see how it
Okay,
is. I
he's
see how
coming
it is.
after your job, man.
Apparently,
You
it's
better
fine.
watch it. You
I don't
better
mind.
watch
I
it.
don't mind. He has a long way to go.
It's got a long way to go. Well, speaking of long ways to go, it's another best of 3 here. This time, TSM up against Ever. They surely can't make the mistakes they made this morning.
I mean,
I'm
how
not
many,
too sure about that one.
they can make him,
Yes.
but is yeah. How much gold is
Yeah,
enough?
the irony is, I remember this morning, it was like, do we need the Korean translator? Do we need Susie on stage?
Susie, stay
wait,
back.
no way. They just got the pentacles, like, they can't throw this. You don't need, it's okay, you don't need to come down. It's like, oh, Christ, someone find Susie. Yeah, so...
It was a rough game.
It was a rough game. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ever up against TSM. TSM just gone through a grueling best of 3 against Origin. Literally throwing the game back and forward at each other. It was like a match of tennis without the rackets, and Just basically who
And you also don't
make the
throw
most
anything in
errors.
tennis. That would be kind of weird if you start throwing stuff in
I mean,
tennis.
handball maybe.
He doesn't know what handball is. He's from
Denmark
the
is big
UK.
on, isn't big on handball, right?
Use feet.
We invented handball.
Foot to ball.
Yeah, you guys look like you invented handball.
Hey, I mean, we are the great. Well, actually, we kind of suck at it now.
To be fair,
we used to be good.
We invented football, we suck at that. We invented,
Yeah.
invented rugby, we suck at that. We invented cricket, we suck at that. I mean, we're just not very good.
So the lesson is don't invent anything because
Just
you'll
copy
be bad
it.
at it. Just copy what everyone else
Hey
is
man,
doing.
we have Kasing. We have Kasing right now. He's our shining beacon. But right, okay, let's talk about the team comps. Let's talk about the game. What do you guys predict? Obviously, we heard what the pros had to say on the desk.
Right.
What do the analysts think?
We're big fans of the Bard Lux combo, especially. So much pick potential also into this low mobility AD carry. Has to stand still to machine gun his way. Bard is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the Bard Callisto lane just overall has incredibly strong trading, which kind of will force Doublelift and Yellowstar to swap or just do the go into lane to mind game almost, because it's such clear swap away on a side from TSM that it may actually mind game by just going bot. And Ever looks to kind of buy into that mind game because they set up the swap themselves. They will find Hanser here. Look
trap
for the
them.
double stun.
Well, I think you're just going to walk away from that one, Sven.
Don't look for the double stun.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go greedy. We saw some interesting plays from these guys in the last match.
So we've seen this before, where one team in a lane swap is invading aggressively and then starting on their own weak side. So you can see Graves on your minimap is starting on his own red buff, even though his dual lane is on top side. And because you invade in and the other team does not, you stop them from doing a camp.
Yeah.
You actually push them out, and you will now get 3 buffs for forever. And Ares here, he's the greediest player I've ever seen for buffs. He will literally Graves ulti for buffs later on.
Yeah,
in the
he
game.
Graves ulted Krugs earlier today. I know, I love
It's
Krugs
insane.
and all, but so you use a Graves ultimate, that there's a line, and he crossed it. The good thing about 3 buffs right now,
Oh, look at this.
essentially
Lane swap.
is though, they're reswapping it around. So
Yellowstar is going top to defend together with Hanser and also secure the buff for Sven. Double is on his own.
he's face checking.
Oh, he might not get away with this one. That's going to be the exhaust down. Key's in trouble. He has
Yellowstar.
some very strong performances in the first game, but he will be first blood given up. It's going to go across to Haunter, and now Loken's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get caught out. Can Loken even get away from this? This could be a double. It's a disaster for EST Ever. And this is just like game 1. They got a great start, but can they not throw it away this time,
Yeah,
please?
TSM do our job for us. We don't even have to explain the counter to 3 buffing because they just showed it to us. Completely catch Key by surprise because he just assumes that somebody will be max alone in the jungle and not a support top laner dual lane there.
But this was not even supposed to be a good play because Crazy technically could just instant TP'd bot lane. Doublets were pushing the lane alone. Crazy could have TP'd in instantly, picked up I don't know how much CS, gotten almost like 2 levels ahead probably of Hanser. Instead, he was trying to run top to save his teammates.
Yeah.
Already got caught out.
But he's just like so flabbergasted because
Yeah,
no
he's
team
surprised.
This is the first time I've ever seen something similar like this the entire season, pretty much. The point I was trying to make earlier is that like a 3 buff kind of gets nullified by tempo loss because the time you spend clearing all those camps, you kind of get behind in the lane swap in terms of tempo. And that's why generally you don't see it punished. But this is the first time I've actually seen one of these aggressive 3 buff attempts really punished by TSM, and Yellowstar with a good flash combo there to seal the
Yeah.
kill.
Still, I mean, what we normally would have seen was Graves would just skip his blue buff and just walk straight into enemy jungle to pick up another red buff and then give blue buff to Lux at like level 5. She has a great laning phase then with the blue buff spam, and then he goes top anyway. But it gets, as you said, completely countered and surprised. I'm still not sure it's a good play overall because of Crazy getting the buff,
Hey man,
but because they got the 2 kills,
TSM's
it's a good...
1,000 gold ahead.
Yeah. Because
No,
they
I
got
get you,
the
I get
kills,
you.
it is a good play. But if you just like do it 10 games in a row, I'm not sure it's going to pay off.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Doublelift was getting free farm as well, but we do see a 4 stack down the bottom here. 3 members of EST Ever here. They're going to go down towards Crazy. Crazy's getting pinned out. Haunter's running distraction duty, but they couldn't get the kill, and Yellowstar took a lot of tower damage there. But they're still in a 4v3 situation, so they still have the advantage, and it looks like they may try and get a second bite at this cherry.
Yeah, Ever playing with fire there, baiting a 4-man dive instead of like trying to hide under the tower to at least hang on there.
Yellowstar's just regenning, he's just regenning, TP's coming down, this is going to be Haunter joining the party, it's a 5-man pile-on. This time Key's going to try and block out the damage, but they do manage to get 1 in there. A good trade, a 1-for-1 so far, but TSM will get out with the 2. But that's still very clumsy.
Well, I mean, Team Solo Meta are not afraid to pull off some crazy plays here. First, changing the lane swap to counter the double buff, get 2 kills, then set up a dive bot lane here, even though Tempt had TP as well, and it would always be 4v5, because Kalista is stuck in the top lane right now. And there's so much CC, like one guy who's tanking the tower who missed positions and he dies. Like Hans in this case does go down because he gets snared in the very end. But
These bombs though.
It's still enough, man. Beautiful double spot.
We've seen fairly little Zilean, and just the power of Zilean on these dives, because it's so, usually you can at least juke a skill shot, you know, maybe left, right, but the AoE of those bombs, Bjergsen just places them in the same place, and they will proc, you know, the AoE explosion on multiple members, and that just wins TSM that dive completely. Because Kalista was isolated farming in the top lane, so TSM needed to get a solid advantage from that to make it worth their time.
Only other option would have been just put Hans at top lane with his TP. Problem is the lane was pushing towards Loken, and he would be a level ahead of him, could actually be a bit of a bully. In that 1v1, that's why Team Solo Mid said, let's dive bot lane instead. Reset the whole thing, get the 2v2 with some early kills. Hans has 2 kills on his Fiora. I mean, he's going to be a massive split pushing threat. Nautilus can't do anything 1v1 against him later on.
Well, let's see how that reflects on the game. You know, we've seen enough of GBM playing Zilean over in America, one of the first guys to bring it out in the NALCS. So
Nukeduck as well.
Bjergsen looked at that. Well, yeah, Nukeduck did do it, but GBM did it first, didn't he?
Yeah. But it's also a classic Bjergsen, you know. Look what everyone else is playing, going like, oh, you play Zilean?
Well, I mean, to be fair, they banned all 3 champions against him, so he was focused. Doublelift playing with fire there, coming out, but he's got himself that blue buff, so we'll see how much pressure he can put down on this one. Yellowstar's just above.
He's just hiding in the lanes. Like,
sitting there hiding in the bottom.
Eating some grass.
Well, they're trying to, I mean, I guess they're trying to bait him in, but
I don't think you want to make that bait at this point if you're a Kagwan, though, against that lane.
danger play.
There's one thing in the bottom lane though. Hansa is actually pretty far behind in experience. We talked about how Crazy could just TP bot lane when Team Solo Mid made that move on the red buff, and he picked up quite a lot of waves. So despite him dying on the tower, he's still 2 levels up, which is massive because it means the Fiora is obviously going to take that much longer to really become anything.
Well, considering you got no vision really above the top, and Ares pretty much went all across the jungle, Hansa was definitely playing with fire, but Ares didn't fancy going for that crazy kill. Rift Herald, though, will get started off by TSM here.
Yeah, Crazy misses out on the big trade, though. That Dredge line now connecting and going to the wall means the Riptide would miss. The auto attack really didn't do much, so Hansa could have been there, could have left that trade at like half HP. That would have put him in dive range of Ares, so it's the little things that count. Bjergsen.
Not quite enough to finish it off. That's risky stuff from Bjergsen, trying to go for the double bomb stun, but he will get out alive and attempt using that ulti. As I remember good old Froggen saying many a time, use it on cooldown.
Yeah, use it on cooldown and try and snatch some unlucky raptors on the way, and apologize to your jungler, you know. Oops.
Oops, sorry, that just missed shot there.
You know how that goes.
This is the setup here. Now, Sven and Yellowstar want to go for this. Crazy does have TP, as does Hansa, so this could get very messy very quickly.
Oh, it's too risky. I mean, there's a level 6 Nautilus coming in with ulti as well. If you don't instant kill a target, they have to go for just key almost.
Well, there's the flash. There's the Pulverize. Headbutt yet to follow, and they're already backing out of this one. They realize this is a danger play. Look at the 2 mid laners coming up the river. They're going to join in. They may actually catch on towards each other. Key does manage to get on towards Yellowstar. There's going to be the ulti catching on towards him. He's going to have to back away from this one. Doublelift now. He's the front line. That's a disaster. The exhaust goes down. He's in trouble. Temp comes around the side. You can see Svenskeren trying to make a play on towards him. Bjergsen, oh, he misses the stun. That's Doublelift surely going down. Has got the ulti down on towards him from Bjergsen. Will come back, but there's no way out for him. He's gonna get locked down. Doublelift will drop, and it's Ever that come out on top.
But we gotta go back all the way to the start of the play. We'll get there though. Let's watch Svenskeren right now.
Oh, he can safeguard to Yellowstar.
Oh, that laser catches them both though. There's the jump for this. Key goes in. That's horrible, horrible stuff. So well set up. Yellowstar. Are they going to catch him out? The ulti doesn't quite do enough.
Oh, he can journey right here. He can journey over the next wall and then do a Q auto.
His journey, he used it a moment ago. He moves, I think it was on cooldown.
Come up there. But it all starts with the play. They're setting up the dive. They're talking about the dive. And while Yellowstar's like, okay, guys, 3, 2, Svenskeren, why are you doing Grump? Svenskeren finished off the Grump. Yellowstar flashes in, and then they decide not to go. Watch what's here. Svenskeren is still finishing up that Grump. He has stuff on cooldown right now. And then Loken gets hit into the wall, and now they hesitate.
Now, Hansa had TP the whole time as well, by the way, throughout this.
Yeah,
just chose not to go.
The problem also with this play is Hansa's level 5. He has like 0 impact if he actually TPs in. He wants to just sit and farm. Temp does have to flash away. Look at Crazy here, and he's hooked with the Nautilus straight into the smaller wall, so he actually doesn't get double lift.
Yeah.
Ends up making it a little bit more difficult forever, but definitely some miscommunication. Sven is greeting a little bit for that Grump.
Yeah, and miscommunication on the side of TSM for sure. Like, Yellowstar not sure if he should join the fight or leave it. And while on Ever, they're all on the same page. Temp collapsing inwards, using that shield to kind of help him and his teammates. Key with some really solid Bard moves right here overall. And then the chase right here, the double laser. that actually gives Aris enough mana, I think, for the level up. I don't know why he doesn't ulti here. Yeah, because he dashes in. I think he doesn't have enough mana
Yeah.
for ulti. So he waits, gets the level up right now, and now he can go for the chase, and Yellowstar almost drops there.
Nice little flash from Crazy as well to dodge the double bomb. So Bjergsen went for it and would have turned that fight very differently. But 4 kills to 3. Ever proving once again that they are very much up for a fight, a brawl. And TSM, we were talking about it on the desk at the start of the show many hours ago. You guys may have slept in between then. There was, I know a lot of the Americans went to bed as soon as the game finished.
Hey,
They'd be
here-
back awake and going, what? ESC Evo? Is this a replay?
Here at
Is it
IEM, we
sponsored
cater
by
to all
Rerun?
of viewers, you know. If you're in China, you were asleep at the start, or in America right now, we run so
We're
long
global.
today that we go full global.
Full global, but yeah, do not adjust your sets. This is once again TSM versus Ever. It's a best of 3 this time around, but we were saying, going back to my point, we've gone around the houses. Going back to my point, we were saying that TSM have the 5-man brawl, but Ever proved many times they will skirmish all across the map. And while they even tried it against RNG, didn't quite work out so well for them. There's Key getting caught out, but there's no follow-up because Bjergsen was already caught out by Key.
Just a great ulti from Key, avoiding the double bomb coming by stunning Bjergsen there, so he's able to escape. But yeah, I mean, Ever normally is a team who actually likes to play this 1-4 split push, but they've been picking Nautilus quite a bit and opting more into big team fights. Obviously, it did give them a win over Team Solomid earlier.
The Nautilus is kind of a product of the Bard pick as well, because it just works so well together. Either the Bard ulti into lockdown for the Nautilus to close the gap in these team fights, or just Dredge Line being used, or Depth Charge, and then you can follow up with any of these Bard spells, and then they had a TF2 earlier in the game. They just synergize so well with their CCs, and very rarely do they overlap. Hanser, on the other hand, though, here in the bot lane, in that plane and top lane, yes, that was good from Ever, but he managed to close the gap right now, back on even CS, back on even levels too. So he's back in the game, and that was the cost of that play from ESC Ever.
And that really opens up a lot for Team Solomid, because even though they don't split push that well, it is a big part of how they can win the game, because you have a Fiora pick into Nautilus. It's where we got to see if this team has learned anything. The coaching staff has been watching the games. Bjergsen said in the interview they could learn and fix it.
I mean, if you go back to the first game, they were attempting the split push, but they ended up having to double stack it.
Well,
and
they were
then,
split
and
push
then
for
they
like a
went,
minute,
okay,
and then
yeah, and
team
they realized
fighting.
this isn't going to work. Let's go try force a Baron, and then that just went horribly wrong for them.
They should have learned, and they should just keep Hansa in the side lane for as long as possible. Only let him join a fight if he can get like a perfect flank and there's nothing he can gain 1v1. Otherwise, there's no reason to move him in there, because it means Nautilus can just team fight as well.
Yeah, at this point, Hanser has to be the one dictating the tempo of the game. We'll get back to it, because Doublelift's going to walk into the rush.
Oh, double lift. Well, I mean, he was the original face checker, so it's only right that he goes and does it. I mean, he didn't even get a chance to face check. They just went at him
I mean,
before.
we're keeping it old school today. Face checking, double lift, D-Man is on the desk. I mean, we're keeping
Only
it very
team
old school.
fighting, barely any split pushing, couple Baron throws, making it easy.
Just keeping it fresh for the old guy. Oh, Ares, okay. Bjergsen, not go. Oh, nice catch there. He does manage to flash out. Tried to dash, but Horns has followed through.
Oh.
Rift Arrow on him, but that's going to be tricky for them. But he does get the kill, and they're going to allow him to escape because they can just wrap around. And Tempt wasn't really close enough to help out.
And this is actually important for TSM as well. Yellowstar's having a good game, because the last few games he's been overextending, dying a lot early in a failed
he's on
attempt to
Alistar.
peel.
Yeah.
He is playing Alistar. It's a little bit easy mode to actually, get out of fail free card with that ultimate. But he's still 0-0-5 right now.
Svenskeren trying to set up for something on Tempt here. Yellowstar around the side. This is a 3-pronged attack, and Tempt is reading it like a book.
Still gonna lose
Wisely
his tower
back,
though. Can't really. I guess you can actually ult the wave, so that's
Maybe
good.
you can just do that. That is what
that
you
works.
can do with.
Apparently, you can wave
Lux.
clip Lux ulti. Today we learned. All of us learned that today.
I mean, I know you're a bit rusty, mate. You haven't seen it for a while, so.
Yeah, Lux. Pick we've seen a bit in LPL, a bit in Korea. Not too much in Europe.
Where's Sushi when you need him?
Yeah, we need sushi back.
Sushi.
Sushi, I mean,
I could
you
use
guys
some
are
sushi.
Maybe you need some sushi. I don't know. Not really fancying it here, I've got to be honest. We're a little far away from the sea. Just anyway. Svenskeren gets himself the red buff. Now, is he going to continue? He is. There's going to be the yellow star flash. There's the pulverize. Logan's going to get focused. He gets exhausted down. Doublelift comes in. There's the damage. The second shot follows through nicely. Svenskeren might get taken out here. He will by Tempt. But it's a 2-for-1. There's the revive. And that is why you have a Zillion.
Yeah, and this is another way the Zillion pick actually makes a lot of sense for TSM, because one of their main failures in the last game versus Origin was that Svenskeren was diving in too deep. too far all the time. But he can actually go for that forced play because he will at least have a Zillion ulti reviving him on the way out.
The whole time we thought it was for double lift, but we realized it's for Sven diving too deep. There we go. They've realized how to fix their problems. It's just get a 6th player.
He's working really well together with Yellowstar. This is like the 2nd or 3rd time we see a double-pronged attack or a follow-up on each other, or at least they have some synergy. They're not executing it perfectly, but at least they're moving together. They're placing down vision. They're becoming a roam squad instead of just resorting to this early 5-man death ball.
And while the pick and ban phase from Team Solo Mid tends to be a little bit predictable, some of the early picks with Alistar and Lee Sin, it is the comfort picks for these 2 players who have been struggling before. So it's super important they get them. We see the play here. Ever is not in a position to fight because Yellowstar gets a good flank, and in mid lane, Tempt is still trying to run and join his team. He doesn't have a good position. You can see him here at the top of your screen. He's not really in the fight yet until now. And then it's too late because it's also too easy for Bjergsen to line up the ulti and just save whoever is low enough to actually die.
I mean, it was a risky engage. You saw Doublelift use the flash to engage, which is very, very risky on a Kog'Maw. It's going to be down for a while. Now, the question is, did Ever notice that flash in between the clump of team fights?
Most likely, we would assume. But I'm not sure they can actually punish it unless they catch him out and Bjergsen is not there. But the thing is, with Team Solo Mid's lineup, it's 1 man pushing and 4 men moving together. So when you play against a pure team fighting composition, Zillion is just so good. He's extremely bad against split pushes because then he can't really do anything. Against team fight and pick potential, he shines.
Yeah. Especially when the backline likes to clump or just the zone he offers. Very often it's just not even the bombs being used, it's just the threat of the bombs being used that just puts you in such a shift as you approach that team fight.
And it's important to bring protection when you go deep. That's how it is.
Really? Okay, that's
Keep going, just want to add it in.
Today I learned, I believe, was the phrase that Mitch used earlier, and I've just learned something else there. So, but Sven Skeren...
You just learned that?
Well... I learned it a while ago.
We might have a few mini demons in the crowd.
Let's not go into that. Yeah, let's not go into that one. But anyway, keeping it clean. It's a family show, boys. It's a family show. TSM, we've probably lost quite a few people with that, but we're on our own here at the moment. But as it is,
that's fine. We just still have each other.
We do. 7-4's the score, guys. That's where it is. League of Legends, 3K difference.
Baron, Rift Herald.
Before I start throwing some Counter-Strike terminology in here,
he's roaming.
let's get down to it.
Hanser will get a tower. Bjergsen is just here to push Crazy away. Ares might look for a kill.
He just used his ulti on Bjergsen. That's a little presumptuous when they knew Hanser was so close by. Hanser immediately puts the damage down onto Ares. And, you know, we said they like to fight, but that was a little reckless. And that is going to be an easy mid turret. They didn't finish it off, and wisely so, because they would have been caught out there. Double lift. That's enough, though. I mean, that's shredded down. It's just
TSM still, and Bjergsen at Zillion, when the Depth Shards gets used or the Fate's Call for the knockup, they still have that protection from the Zillion ulti to prevent that.
Yes. The problem is...
Why are you laughing while you say that, Krepo?
Well, he hasn't built double penetration yet, so it's all right. It's when that starts happening, that's when you have problems. No, carrying on.
Farming the bot lane, farming minions, and rending.
Yep.
Yep. that's some deep, deep stuff.
Some Kalista mechanics here. When you last hit a minion, you gain gold, which you use to buy items.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, and now we can go back to base and buy items.
So much has changed since I left.
Oh, no, he didn't actually go back. He's hiding. He's setting up a trap.
They're setting up for the Bard ulti here, which is actually down, so they're not setting up for the Bard ulti here.
I'd be running right now. Okay, no, it's all right. It's got Kate coming around, like you say, the Bard ulti, because I can see Sven Skeren coming in. Bjergsen will finish off that middle turret. So, their third one of the game. Ever, so far, not got themselves a single turret.
And we
start
see...
to really fall behind in lane.
Yeah, we see what's happening to these teamfight comps when they actually get split pushed on. It's incredibly hard to get out of that lock. Happened a lot in Season 2, too. A couple of teams right there that really wanted to...
M5?
Teamfight M5, for example. And then there was a really, really good split pushing team. Out there as well.
That farmed a lot.
Yeah, countered Nate. It's really hard to get out of that because Crazy is constantly under pressure here from Hanser, and the remaining members, their engages will become so forced that it's very easy for TSM to react to it.
So as long as Team Solo Mid sticks to split pushing, this game will just keep going the way it's going now.
And that's one way of saying, I mean, the camera guy's that bored we're watching the Baron animation coming in.
It's a beautiful animation.
Look,
people work long and hard.
I don't see the Rift Herald die very often like that, and then Baron comes in.
We may see an actual fight. Here we go. Loken, no, going to run away because Key is there in position. Look at Ares lingering in the darkness, in the reeds.
Yeah,
waiting to pounce.
Both mid laners have teleport to join this bot lane party. This is Forgiven's worst nightmare.
There's no
when you
party.
play against 4 teleports.
No party, no one invited. It's just going to be Hauntzer and Crazy continuing to go at it in that top lane. And it's going to become a point where Hauntzer can just cause some serious problems, and Ever are
Yeah.
going to have to deal with him eventually.
I mean, once we go a little bit later in the game, he's going to switch his Titanic Hydra for Ravenous Hydra, which is better against these late game tanks. And then with the extra sustain, a lot of S's in there suddenly,
It's easy for you to say.
then there's nothing Crazy can do other than TP in and actually try and team fight. If he can push the lane out, he can TP in behind and get a 5-on-5 where he doesn't lose a tower. That's almost the only way for him to have an impact in the game.
Yeah, we're looking at flanks really for both these teams to really open up the team fights. Obviously, TSM just want to protect Doublelift right here. Yellow Star going in. Ulti misses. This is big for TSM.
Yeah, he's going to have to get pulled away, but they're still trying to fight it. I'm not sure TSM can turn it up at any time here. Hauntzer goes in, the Grand Challenge goes down. Keith does manage to get himself away.
It's
Svenskeren,
crazy.
he wants to die, but nobody's killing him. Now they do, and that's the Bjergsen ultimate wasted. Now Yellowstar's going to get focused on Ares doing the damage. The laser catches on towards one. He will get a kill. Ares pushes in, and Loken finally will go down. It's a double for Bjergsen, but they're still going in. Captain Surprise! Oh, he gets key as well. Touchdown.
So
A 4-for-3.
Lot of things happen in that fight.
the fight is won by Team Solo Mid, but I feel like we're going back to the first game of the day, where again, Team Solo Mid can technically win without ever team fighting properly and just honestly running 4-man and then spray push. They opt into another team fight, which gives the combat mechanics possibly forever. Even though the bot ulti misses, look how close this fight is, because this is where Crazy has an impact. It's where the Lux can really shine. Early ulti used on Sven to keep him alive. Crazy now joins in, super tanky.
Yeah, we see the difference though in the approach to these team fights. TSM doesn't really play around their cooldowns very well. So when Bjergsen's bombs are down, TSM is still walking forward. Whereas if you look at Ever, they're moving back and forward really well. But this double bomb right here, that is a turning
It
point.
wins the fight.
Otherwise, ESC Ever end up winning that fight despite whiffing a complete Bard ulti, which is really rough. Yes, Doublelift goes with the outplay. He flashes over the Lux binding. Obviously, don't get hit then and goes for 1 kill into a Captain Surprise for the second. But this is the difference between TSM's approach in teamfights and Evers. Evers is actually cleaner.
Yeah.
They keep winning these fights from behind by using their CCs and at least playing around it.
So don't take the fights. I mean, that's the strange thing.
Yeah, but I think TSM were genuinely surprised that ESC Ever took that fight. I think they just like, we got this flank, we've got the perfect move, we're going to catch them out. Speaking of people being caught out, Bjergsen's going down. He has got himself the ulti. He's going to try and get as close to that tower as possible. He's got no flash, though, and it will be a kill. Now, what will they get off the back of this? There's no turret still yet for Ever, but they're going to go for an early Baron.
Yeah, they might force a fight here. There's no TP for Hauntzer. He's stuck in the bottom lane.
They could catch 10 tower.
TSM
Yeah.
is behind him, though. I don't think they've seen him here.
Oh, they don't know where they are, so
They're
let's
gonna
see if they
sneak in.
split up.
They're
or
waiting
just
for
go ham.
Hauntzer. Hauntzer's running across.
Oh,
Now they see
Yellowstar.
Hauntzer coming in. There's Yellowstar catches down 3 members with the pulverize. This Svenskeren goes in, tries to secure it, but the Baron turns on him. Now Yellowstar's in all sorts of trouble, and Hauntzer only just arrived. And sadly, just don't have the damage. Now there's a 15 seconds on Bjergsen. He has teleport. If Hauntzer can delay them enough here, Doublelift arrives. Now he can try and put the damage down, but that's a great catch by Crazy. He's got no flash. He used it in the last fight, but look at the damage he's putting down. Gets himself the double. Can he get the Quadra? I think he just did with the Captain Surprise. No, Hauntzer stole it away. What a scumbag.
Oh, Runaan so good that Doublelift immediately buys another one. Then he saw Runaan's
Another one.
wins that fight. But a couple of big things here. Q getting used by Attempt is really big here. Then I think Flash here comes out from Loken to maybe dodge the kick at least, or somehow, because he gets out of that fight, he doesn't get Ares kicked on top of him. That wins the fight for ESC Ever up until this point. But the turn here overall from TSM was really impressive. It
Might
resulted
have
in
more
4
fights.
kills. But we missed some things. People are dead. They're still dead.
They're still dead. They just
Attempt
tried to
just-
dive another one.
So the big
Yeah.
part of it, anyway, in that fight, when you saw Yellowstar go in, get the pulverize down, Doublelift was about to come into the river and then was like, I'm going to go all the way around, which is why we saw him coming into the fight so late, which actually worked out so well for his favor because he got himself the triple. Calculated Doublelift, or baited, as I'd say in Counter-Strike.
It is still game 1 all over again. We go from Team Solo Mid winning the early game, being in full control. We're about to say, I mean, this game technically couldn't go wrong. You got great late game scaling, the Fiora, Doublelift, as well, the Zillion to protect. And then we get into these crazy, crazy team fights where Ever
need to
actually
win
has the
out.
chance to win. Obviously now there's still 6 late game comp from Team Solo Mid, but
Well,
it just makes it easier for Ever to do something.
And here we're sitting at 26 kills in 25 minutes. So the game is definitely delivering in terms of entertainment value.
But for TSM, when you need a triple Rudons hit to kill 3 guys at once, then you have issues. You know, that's
Yeah.
not your win condition in team fights when frontline Kog'Maw has to 1v4.
And that's the thing. It might not lose them the game, but we said the same in day one, in game one, day one. Day one. Still
Today is day one.
It is still day one.
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day.
I mean, we are, what, I don't know how many hours. We've been here at 8 a.m. It's now 9:30. So we're 13 hours in, boys. We're doing
Yeah.
well. Doing well. And this is the start of a best of 3. It's only going to get better from here.
Hey, shout out to the fans. There's people here that have been queuing up this morning until like when we
From
arrived.
7 a.m.
When we arrived here at 8 a.m., the plaza was like filled with some really nice fans overall, and they waited nicely. Proper queuing from the Polish.
Proper queuing.
I
Very
was
English.
impressed.
Very English queuing. Svenskeren, that's not so good, but he will get out. Loses half his health though, and then we'll see
Baits
what
the cooldowns.
Ever can do from this. He needs to get a little bit of regen on that. But
Like,
TSM in the driving seat at the moment. They're the ones being aggressive. They are being this clump. Fiora is split pushing. Everything is going to plan
For now.
barring the 11 deaths.
For now. Again, we could remove probably 6 or 7 of those kills forever and just say they should never really have happened. I like the change from Hanzo. We talked about it. Get the Ravenous Hydra. Better for killing tanks late game. And my voice is giving up.
Just gone on you there, mate, hasn't it? I thought you were getting emotional, actually. I think that's what it was.
It's like he can
Does
finally
make me
kill these
super
tanks.
happy.
I mean,
See.
EU are already out in one group. They've got Fnatic tomorrow. Don't fancy the chances. I don't want to break it to you.
That's going to be tough. SKT, QG
CLG.
in there, CLG.
There's going to be a lot of NA greater than EU threats coming out this weekend, I feel.
Let's see if Ever can win this one. I don't think so. Right now, Team Soul Mid is still pretty far ahead. And they are putting Hanzo in the bottom lane to split push.
I mean, this game though, TSM got a decisive lead early game to an interesting adaptation on the whole lane swap. But if ever get a similar draft in game 2, we could see this series go all 3 games, because they have made some really creative opportunities with the Bard ulti, you know, chaining with the Kalista ulti, zero hesitation.
Cheeky
They also
steal.
lose their blue buff here to Svenskeren, just adding a little bit of insult to injury this game.
That was just with the Q as well.
Bjergsen rewards him by leveling him up. Nice teammate.
It's like playing Digimon or something.
Good job. Now level up.
Yep, you get to go to the next stage.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so the next thing for Team Solar Mid is obviously that Hanzo is split pushing. That is good. You need the other 4 members to push another lane. So you have 2 lanes pushing down at once, so Ever is basically forced to sit in base. And you then have full Baron control. You try to create a pick with the Zillion ulti, or you get the one-on-one kill with Hanzo. Then you can either open up the base, or you can then go and take that Baron 5 versus 4, 5 versus 3. That's the play you're looking for. So get a ping ward in the river near the Baron. They got a few around it. I want to see one actually just in front of the Baron pit to
Also-
make sure there's nothing.
Yeah, you want one if you're purple side outside the Baron pit,
Yeah.
so you see those wards being placed over. But you actually want in this meta like an actual warden in the pit, because these nasty blue wards get placed there over and over, and you don't want to kind of walk in to check if there's a new one. But that puts you down 1 ward on your side stone, and jungler's only carrying like a few yellow wards. It's actually very hard to maintain complete vision control into triple blue streak, and so Ever, since they're kind of on the same page communication-wise, they should be able to stall out this Baron almost indefinitely.
Well, Doublelifter's got a QSS coming into this next fight, which will help him out considerably, especially considering the amount of CC on Ever. It's a different
Yeah.
game entirely.
CC on TSM as too, because Bjergsen can shut down any entrance.
Oh,
With the bombs, good Bard ultimate there, forcing double. I like how he portals in to get in a proper
immediately
range.
flanking. Yellow
But the
stuff.
reaction comes out from TSM.
Coming around, Hauntzers with the TP. They have actually backed out nicely, and that's a cancelled TP. Hauntzers still pushing that mid lane, and he's completely unaffected. Ever all here. This is a 5-man. So TSM, they just simply want to distract them as much as possible while that inhibitor turret goes down, and it's going to work.
and this is the correct play. You see Hanzo at first is like, should I join the fight? Like, wait a minute, last time I joined, it didn't work out. Cancel, stay, keep pushing. When you have so much lifesteal here, you actually want to trade on the towers and then back out and just lifesteal back, constantly sustain yourself, and Nautilus is just going to try and wave clear, and that's about it. Suddenly the base is open. You just needed that one move because you kept the pressure going in 2 lanes at once, and then you get your opening.
And Hauntzer's doing a great job at keeping 2 people over. Tempt is kind of like half-heartedly approaching this one. He's now finally come across there. Crazy comes in, nice catch there with the riposte. And TSM collect themselves an inhibitor turret and a tier 2 turret and back out without being absolutely touched at
Yeah.
all. And they're going for Baron.
TSM have learned from their mistakes. The respect flash from Doublelift outside of the bar ulti, the reaction teleport in case it was needed, but then they can't, so this is big. Haunter game 1 did not make those decisions. And now we see the zone control from Zilean though. Bombs are down, so there's disengage.
Oh, Crazy's going to get caught out. There's the double bomb. He's in trouble. He will go down. That was a very easy pickup in the end. And that will be TSM undoubtedly finishing off this Baron. Are they going to challenge him? It's just going to be an attempt at a steal maybe with a Lux Laser, something like that. Ares maybe tries to dive in, which is what he's trying to do, and that's why they peel. That's why they throw him into the wolves. And TSM, easy pickup.
This time not on the same page. They use the Temper Fate, but at the same time, Ares goes into engage range, and the Cosmic Binding just completely whiffs at that point.
And full control now. Inhib is open. They're pinging it already. Got TP for Bjergsen in base. He even has home guard if needed. And you can just rush straight down. There's still, what, 28 seconds on the jungler, 10 seconds on Crazy. Open Inhib. You might even be able to take a bot lane tower here. You got minions coming.
Yeah, they no reason to go back right now. They do finish the job on the inhibitor. They are going to pass around. Dragon is up. Just going to pass on by, do a drive-by on the red buff. And everything going TSM's way. They surely can't lose it this time.
Doa lied to us last time. That's why he's no longer on the desk. We see the fight. So this is just a disengage. It's the right move. Don't risk like a 50-50 smite with the enemy jungler or maybe a Lux ulti stealing. Just disengage, pick up the free kill, go back and do the same again because now the enemy jungler comes in. This is the miscommunication, Mitch, you were talking about. Ulti at the same time as the jungler is trying to get close enough to potentially steal it. Obviously doesn't do anything and he just ends up dying.
Because in theory, obviously it's really hard to call from above. Tempered Fate can actually make this fight instead of a 5v4 into, you know, disable 3 people and fight the other 2 on the side of Ever, and it can actually outnumber you for a short period of time and then get the numbers advantage. Still threaten the steal with Graves' ultimate combined with the Lux Laser, and then suddenly TSM is in a really tricky position. But yeah, it's very hard to make those calls because so rarely in scrims do you get into a situation where you have to contest 4v5 with these type of numbers with a Bard ultimate available. But it changes the entire approach to that stop.
Where's he going?
It's a speedy Bjergsen replay.
Summer's Drift.
And Furious. Well, it says it's a replay, but I'm pretty sure we're live. I don't know. I'm not too sure what's going on now.
It's a test, Demon.
This is like, I'm trying to think.
We're testing your
I'm
memory
pretty
here.
sure I'm looking at the computer on the right that is live. I think the replay is a lie. There we go.
It's actually
Replay was
0.5
live.
seconds from
Trying
the
to
past.
cat me out, yeah. Either that or Kevin's like, I'll just keep it up right now. Catch them off guard. Speaking of people being caught off guard, Ares has to pull the ulti there as he got caught out with a double bomb. This is very aggressive. Haunter in trouble.
Look at the
But
life
look
steal.
at the life steal. He just pulls back, goes back in, finishes the tower, and now Crazy has to respect him. He's so fed right now. He's going to pull the damage down onto Crazy. Crazy trying to distract him as long as possible. He's going to pull the attention of Temp down here, and that's going to leave the top lane fairly open. And that is a second inhibitor now for Haunter.
And this is what I like so much about this build with so much lifesteal, because you're split pushing to kill towers, so you're gonna have to play
Good
super
ulti.
aggressive. Let's see what happens if they can actually go in.
It's a good ulti, but there's no
Sending
follow-up. There's
key.
no damage.
No, you don't actually want to face call. You want to follow up with the Cosmic Binding, but as the Bard right there, if you get face called, there's nothing you can do except throw your body
Oh, that's
in.
a nice double bomb. Temp getting caught by that one. Crazy taking a lot of damage. Having to tank it through. Yellowstar dives in. They're going to all pile onto one location. That will be one going down. Can they get the second? Ares going to back away. Big shield goes down onto towards him, but it doesn't matter. TSM have done the job. They're going to get themselves the Nexus turrets. They will get themselves game one unless anything crazy happens in the next 5 seconds. There we go. It is going to be cleanup time for TSM. They're going to take it 1-0 like they should have this morning in this best of 3.
I'm not buying into Crazy playing Nautilus, honestly. I think it ruins too much of what Ever likes to do in Korean Challenger. And when Fiora is open as a good split pushing pick, you can't really take that Nautilus so early because it's such a good matchup for Fiora. And as you said, they should have lost earlier today. Same kind of setup. Split pushing was the way to go for Team Solo Mid. They just walked into team fights. They did it once here, then learned and said, well, let's never team fight again.
I do want to say, even looking at the last series, Bjergsen has played very well this tournament
Yes.
so far. He's definitely been on point, on focus. You see him just walking off the stage. Yeah, you saw them actually going straight over to Haunter, by the way, as well. So it shows what a team mentality has been building up within there. Obviously, you know, it's a big hit, a big knock to lose the way they did this morning.
Yeah, they looked-
and the way they've bounced back from it, they've obviously gathered themselves.
Yep.
They're now in the American time zone. You know they've got their fans watching. They're like, okay, boys, we got this. And the motivation, it is a thing, and they are riding on a wave right now.
We're winning 2 games in a row. Obviously lost that 1 game to Origin as well, but still, I felt like listening to Bjergsen after the game, he felt pretty comfortable. He felt very confident they could beat Ever, and so far it's looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go over to the analyst desk, guys, and see what the pro players have to say with Trevor.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It is just Pro Player as Darshan has had to rejoin CLG just to talk some team prep, get some games in ahead of their matches tomorrow. So I'm quite happy because I get to talk to Kikis a little bit more. We've got a replay. I just want to go straight to the very first one, if you can pull it up on your screen. Because in Picks and Bans, Kikis, you said that with Double Lift on Kog'Maw and Bjergsen playing Zilean, he's just going to die and then die again. Roll this clip out, and we can actually see this is very, very early on in the game. What did you think of this sort of attempted dive that then turns into a team fight, Kikis?
I mean, it just seems like TSM was playing really aggressive this game, and they just went for the plays they saw. It was actually like not that good because maybe they didn't really take into account that Nautilus can just TP and come here, but the team fight broke out. And Lax is actually in not the best position, so it's pretty hard for her to do anything. But they get really good CC. Sadly, Nautilus hook doesn't land. But overall, like, they just go ham. Nautilus flashes in. They kill Double Lift 2 times.
Kikis, how difficult is it to communicate with your team in these sorts of scenarios where the plan that you wanted to set up the dive doesn't happen, and then you have to adjust on the fly while you're running away and things like that?
I mean, it just depends team to team because some teams are actually like used to situations and they just go with the flow because they trust each other and they kind of know what your team is gonna do. But some teams like freak out and then they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Let's go here. Let's go here. Like kill this guy.
What does G2 do? Because you guys are quite a go ham team. You have been very aggressive. So what's the communication like, especially when you consider you've got some imported Koreans with slightly weaker English as well?
Thing is with G2 is I think we're so good at team fighting and trusting each other that we don't have a lot of problems in situations like this because we just communicate what we want to do and we know that if I'm gonna go in, my team is gonna go in.
Yeah, it definitely worked out that way. Team Solo Mid, they played the map very well against ESC Ever. Hornsa on that Fiora, he was split pushing. Do you think it was a good split push? Do you think it was slow? What was your opinion of the split push and how TSM played the map in this game?
Like Darshan mentioned earlier in the cast, it doesn't seem like Hamza is really focusing on the split push because he went for the Titanic Hydra, which meant kind of more go for the teamfight style because they wanted to teamfight them. Like if he went for the Ravenous Hydra, he can actually like pressure Nautilus. If he loses like trade a bit, he heals up and then he's full HP versus lower HP Nautilus. So I think if he won the Ravenous Hydra, he could have had so much more pressure on the Nautilus. And if he played the Split correctly, they would have so much pressure that it would be hard for Ever to they would crumble even more than they did.
Well, definitely worked out slower, but TSM managed to make it work. We've got a second replay that I'd like to pull up on the screen. It was a tower dive into a team fight in the bottom lane around the inner turret. And Kikis, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how Kog'Maw was positioning during the course of this team fight. Roll the clip out, and you can see the pressure that TSM are putting towards the tower. Even Bjergsen coming in from behind. So is this a good way to tower dive?
I mean, it's good. They take the turret first while already engaging, and then I think W has like red eyes, and he's like, okay, I just want some kills. I'm gonna flash in and actually like kill them because Kog'Maw can't do that. Like he can just go ham because he has so much damage with the W that he can get some kills.
We did see the escape from Key as he takes the magical journey out, and it got scary for TSM, but they managed to turn around thanks to some good Bjergsen bombs. An aggressive play from Double Lift.
Yeah, he just goes for the kills. Like he knows, like okay, let's say he's not KDA player. Like he knows he's gonna die most probably, but he's gonna get at least 2 kills for that.
Yeah, and managed to secure it. So it was a 4 for 2 at the end of the day. Team Solo Mid, they come out ahead. Earlier today, Team Solo Mid lost a game to ESC because of a Baron throw. It's something that you're very familiar with because of the game against Fnatic a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. How difficult is it bouncing back from a defeat like that? Or is it just like, hey, we made a mistake, it's easy, forget it, move on?
I'm like, in our case, we're like, okay, like after the Baron failed once, okay, let's try again. Failed second time, oh, wait, what do we do now? Okay, we try something again and then fall again because we weren't that experienced versus the Como. But thing is, I think TSM might be trying too hard to actually like do something around the Baron area. Like, especially when they play with Fiora, they can focus more on the Fiora speed pushing and then them setting the play, them like having the vision control all over with pink wards and waiting like push mid, go take vision control, push mid, go like Baron area, wait for enemies to actually come to you. And at one point, if either they're gonna come, you're gonna kill them, or you can start the Baron and end it.
Well, and earlier today, it didn't work out for TSM. Today, it did. We are going to jump to an ad break very, very quickly. And when we return, it'll be game 2 of TSM versus ESC EVER.